Hi, I'm Tony Northrup, and for my Lightroom video training series, I'm going to show you how to edit videos in Lightroom. Lightroom's not just for photos. You can do very basic video editing, but actually with a few tricks that I'll show you, you can do more complex things like making multiple cuts, cutting between different cameras and different segments, and even adding music to your video. So let's jump right into Lightroom, and I'll show you the first thing, which is how to find your videos. Wherever you are in Lightroom, I'll jump over to all photographs here, tons of stuff. Just open up the attribute filter here, and then on the right side, kind, select the videos. These icons are a little confusing, but you can hover your cursor over them. So this just shows all the videos that I have. You can see there are a couple of unlinked files here. Some of these videos are from a family vacation, so I'm gonna go ahead and edit these together. But the first thing I wanna show you is how to play those videos. It's really simple stuff. Double click a video, and then click the little play button down here. And you can see it'll play ahead. This is just a bunch of GoPro video. So you can skip through, jump to wherever it is. That's all there is to that. Now let's talk about how to set the thumbnail for a video. When you're in the grid view, of course, Lightroom's kind of, press G to jump back to the grid view. Lightroom just takes kind of a guess at what it wants to show you for the thumbnail, but you can pick something specific. So for example, this thumbnail here, you see the thumbnail as like my legs, but I was getting the camera ready for my daughter, who then slid down a slide. So that's not a great thumbnail. It doesn't show me what the content is. I wouldn't be able to browse it. So we can fix this easy. I'm just gonna double click on it. I'm just gonna browse to a section of the video that better conveys the message of it. Okay, this is pretty clear. You can see your legs and you can see a slide. So now we're just gonna click this little list and select Set Poster Frame. Now, when I jump back into the grid view, that's what I see. This is now my new thumbnail. And from that same menu, you can extract a still photo. So I'll jump back again, and let's go over to one of these with birds in it and see if we can't find a cool still frame, something we'd want to maybe put on Facebook as a still photo. Oh, there we go. You can use this to basically use your video camera like a still camera, especially if you have a nice 4K camera. You can be capturing 30 frames a second, and that's basically 30 pictures a second. It allows you to capture just the perfect moment when video is sharp enough for what you want to do. So here, my goal is going to be to, first I'll stretch that out so I have a little more resolution on the slider here. And I'm just going to scrub and try to find a nice expression from my daughter. And, you know, play it forward a little bit. She kind of looks towards the camera in a way. So I just want to find the very best frame I can. A little eye contact. There we go. So I'm going to click this list again and select Capture Frame. What that does is it takes a still from that particular frame and saves it back into your Lightroom library. And it will be stacked with the original video. So I'll jump back to the grid view here. And I still have this selected. You can see it's a stack, but I can't see the picture. Do you know why? Because I have it showing me just videos. So it did make a new picture, but it was automatically hidden because I'm currently viewing only videos. So I'll turn that off and view everything. And now we can see that same video and the still photo right next to it. So this is cool because I can bring this into the develop module and do all sorts of edits to it just like it were an original still photo. You can see there's actually plenty of resolution here. It's just from inexpensive GoPro camera, but it ends up looking pretty good. So for example, I could bring the shadows up a little bit. It's not going to be as good as a still photo from like a raw file on a real camera, but it can be workable. You do not have access to the full suite of settings in the develop module when you're editing videos, but you can adjust the color and brightness of videos, and that can really improve your video quality. So let's take kind of an extreme example here, underwater video, which always has kind of weird color. I'll jump back into Lightroom and get into the develop module, filter it to show just my videos. Here's a picture of me chasing around a sea turtle in a park. And let's find a good frame for this. Oh, there's my little sea turtle friend. So here you can quickly change the white balance, and auto white balance is often going to be better, especially underwater. So I'll select that, and you can see it did indeed improve the color. You might also click the auto tone button to try to just improve the contrast, but that's actually way too much contrast. So I'll hit Control Z or Command Z and undo that. But I do want to just gradually up the contrast a little bit. This is in the library module's quick develop panel, and it replicates a lot of the stuff that you'll see in the develop module when you're editing still photos. But if you go into the develop module, you'll see it says video is not supported in develop. You can't do that. Here's something you can do. You can capture a frame from the video. Let me just jump back into Lightroom and I'll find that particular frame. There it is. Now with the still photo, I can bring that still photo into the develop module. And now I can use all the tools that I'm accustomed to really get this nice and clean. So I'll set the color from the white part of the turtle here. And, you know, I can see by looking at the histogram that it's a little dark, a little washed out. So let's up the contrast some. I want this to be a little bit blue just because it's underwater, and that'll look a little more natural. So I'm just going to pull the white balance a little bit cooler. Maybe up the clarity just a little bit. Now that I've edited the still photo the way I want it, I'll transfer those settings over to the video. You can't do it with copy and paste for no good reason. It doesn't work. But I have this selected, and I'll just open up the film strip, and I'll Control or Command click the video. So now both are selected. And now down here, make sure this is set to sync. I'll click sync, and it will prompt me to synchronize the settings from the picture to the video. You can see many of these options are disabled. That's because these options don't apply to videos. You can't apply clarity or sharpening. You can't apply lens corrections, but you can change the color and the exposure and the contrast and the clipping, not the highlights or shadows. So some of those settings that I changed won't get transferred over. Should be better though. So with those both selected, I'll click synchronize. And you can see now it's pasting the setting. Switch back to the library module so that I can look at this. And sure enough, it went from being ugly and green to having much more pure color. So we've already improved our video quite a bit. Now let's talk about how to trim a video, because everybody's home movies need a little bit of editing. Nobody wants to watch that first minute from the time you push the record button until you hit it again to stop the video. Usually in any video, there's only a few seconds that you really want to show people. So you want to trim off the beginning and the end and give them just the good stuff, right? So let's jump back into the library module here. Let's pick a little video to share, and how about this video of Madeline here with the turtles. And, you know, there's a lot of her with the turtle, but people are going to get it pretty quick. So what we'll do is just trim the beginning and end of it. I'm going to click this little gear icon here to trim it, and then I'm going to just scrub the video until I'm at the first frame that I want to put in the video that I'm actually going to share. So okay, so I'll start right here as she kind of looks up at the camera. And now that I've found that particular mark, I'm going to grab this marker on the left and drag it right up to that same point, and it will lock in. And this is now the start of my video. It's not editing your video file. Your video is still intact, just like Lightroom never edits your physical photos. It never edits your video. So everything is still intact. Now I just need to mark the end of my video, and really just a few seconds are going to be okay here. We'll wait until she puts it down. Okay, so just as soon as she lets go, that's kind of the end of that story. I pan back a little bit, and we'll call that the end of the segment. So I just dragged that right side over, and now I can scrub back to the beginning, hit the play, and we'll see just a few seconds of video that tell most of the story that I wanted to convey. Now let's say you want to get even fancier with your editing. Maybe you have multiple different segments that you want to edit together, or maybe you want to take two different segments from a single video and put them in your finished product. You can do that with Lightroom using the slideshow module. So let's jump back into the library module and we'll make a couple of cuts. We already have this one part of this, but let's say I want to take a section from another part of that video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a virtual copy. So I'm right-clicking that video and selecting Create Virtual Copy. Now I made a virtual copy and wait, where did my trimming go? It's gone. That's because you want to make your virtual copies first. You kind of need to plan out your video, or just make a whole bunch of virtual copies. Make like 5 virtual copies of your original video before you start making the trimming. And then if you want 5 different sections, great. If you only want 3, that's fine. You can just remove the other virtual copies. So I'll just remake that edit that I did real quick. Wait until she puts the turtle back down. There we go. So this is clip number 1, and then I'll jump to virtual copy here. You can see it shows that as just 6 seconds. So now let's find a little section of me with a turtle. And that's clip number 2. So as long as we're here, we might as well pull together a few more sections for our final kind of vacation video. Here Madeline takes it down the slide, so I'll just scrub to the beginning of her free fall. It's good to kind of show her face there a little bit, a little context to the story. Mark that as the beginning. And she can end up in the water. I know I'm going to want to pull a couple of clips from this video, so I'll start by making a virtual copy of it. Oh, that's a still photo. Make a virtual copy of the video itself. Still got that gear icon selected, so now I just need to scrub through here and find the section of the video that has the part that I want to share. The part with the turtle looking good. Okay, so that's a good place to start. Maybe a little farther forward. Good enough. And I think this would make a good finish to the story because the sun is setting. So I know Mad jumps off. There we go. So I'm just going to trim just the part where she's jumping off the float. Okay. We'll call that the first frame. Scrub forward a little bit until she gets in the water. There we go. Call that the last frame. So just so I can remember, I'm going to mark these as pics. Okay, that's actually a good first frame. Little bird there in the feeder. I'll wait until he flies off. Perfect. Call that the last frame. Mark that clip as a pic. This is a longer segment, so I know I'm going to want a couple of these segments. So I'll make a virtual copy of that, and let's make 2 virtual copies. Maybe I want to use 3 clips from the same video segment. So this first one, I just need to find the first segment that I want to use. That's pretty cute. So right as she's looking at the camera, just make a few seconds in that clip. Then I'll scrub forward after that section. There we go. Chelsea feeding the ibis. And then this third clip here, I'll just find a third little clip that I want to share. Let's see if she actually gets a bird. No, it didn't work out for her that time. Okay. Our third clip will be another ibis stealing food from Chelsea. So I'll mark those three as pics as well. And now, jumping back into the library module, I'm just going to filter just those videos that have pics. So now I have 6 clips here. And what I'll do now is go into the slideshow module. Slideshow is kind of intended to show still photos in a sequence, but it can export videos. And you can drop videos in there. So what we can do is take our clips, make them into a slideshow, add music, and then export the whole thing as if it were a new slideshow. Pretty cool. So now we have our 6 clips loaded in, and I could just play these, and it would go through. Oh, you can see I have the banner in there. And it will just play each clip in sequence. Pretty cool. The one thing I want to do is I wanted this video to be my last video in the sequence. So what I need to do is to go into the library module grid view. I'm hitting G to do that. And I'm going to change the order using the library module. So you can just drag and drop to change the sequence. There we go. And this is going to be the sequence that the library module uses. So you know what? Maybe that should be after that. All right, so now I've changed the sequence of this a little bit. We'll go back into the slideshow module. There are a couple of settings that are useful here for video. First, you might not actually need these borders here. That would be silly, right? You wouldn't put a border around a video. So for the templates, we're going to crop to fill. That's going to look a lot better. And we don't need any text overlays for this. So scrolling down a little bit further, it's going to disregard the manual slideshow here, and we don't want the random order. And it's going to disregard the repeat too, unless you're playing it back. But when you save it as a video, it doesn't automatically repeat it, or it would go on forever, right? Now, Lightroom is going to completely ignore the duration here for videos. It's going to play the entire segment of your video, regardless of how long it is. It will crossfade the videos, though. And crossfading is sometimes used in video, but most of the time in video, when you transition from one cut to another, you just do a hard cut. So to do that, we're just going to set the fades to 0 here. So now we're filling the screen. We're doing hard cuts between the videos. We're pretty much ready to export it, except I also wanted to add some music. So I'm going to select the audio checkbox here and then click the select music button to browse for a song. And I did save a song on the D drive here. Under sample videos, there's my song. Now, a great place to find free songs that you couldn't legally share on the internet is the YouTube audio library. That's where I got my song from. Give them a search. They have a lot of great music. So now I have it in there. And you can see I can kind of control the balance of the audio between the video and the music, and that's going to be to taste. What I would do is just play back the slideshow and listen to it, and then you can kind of decide whether you want more music or more audio from the video. These are really rudimentary audio controls. Like if you use any real video editing software, you can remove the noise from the audio and do so many things to improve it and really kind of control the audio. But this is just the quick and dirty way to get some home videos out there and share them on Facebook really easily. So now we're pretty much ready to export the video. If I just want to save it to my drive, I can just click Export Video here and pick a location on my drive. I'm going to save it back in the sample videos folder. You'll see here the video presets. You can choose basically VHS quality, 720p or 1080p. So if you've been recording 4K video, you're out of luck. It's going to downsize everything to just 1080p, and it's going to be 30 frames a second. So if you have a new 60 frames a second camera, it's not going to work for you. But 1080p, that's what a lot of us are using anyway. So go ahead and export this, and it'll take a minute to process it. So now you can see export slideshow as video. While that works, I'll pull up Explorer and jump over to that folder, and then we can kind of wait for it to pop up. You can see a couple of temporary files here. So the export is done, and I'm just gonna double click it to open it in my default video player. Oh, sure enough, there you can see the video. You can hear the music going in the background. Overall, not bad, right, for doing something so quickly. Now, there are better video editing apps available. On Windows, I recommend Windows Movie Maker, which is completely free. It's not the most complex, but it can definitely get the job done. It's way better than Lightroom. On the Mac, I really like iMovie, which I think is like $10 in the Apple Store. Either way, those are going to be much more powerful tools if you get serious about video editing, but we have a full suite of video editing software, and I often use Lightroom just for little quick things that I want to throw on Facebook. And that's the last trick that I'll show you is, besides just saving it to your own computer, you can take advantage of the publishing tools built in Lightroom. So I exported that, and you can see it's not actually in Lightroom yet. So I'm going to just drag that back into Lightroom so that my finished product is now in the Lightroom library. So I'll import that. There it is. And now under Published Services here, I'm just going to log into my Facebook account. So now it's authorized, and you can select an album that you want to save it in. So let's create a new album, and I'll just call it Grand Cayman. And you can see a checkbox down here for include video files, and it tells you what the resolution is going to be. So I'll go ahead and set it to the maximum resolution, and we can kind of see how it turns out on Facebook. So I'll click Save here. And now with my finished product in here, I'm just going to drag it right down there. And now I'll need to select this, because when you drag it down there, it doesn't publish it automatically. It brings it into the new Photos to Publish window, and then you have to click this Publish button to actually put it up there. So now it's going to take a minute, and it needs to kind of internally render it and then upload it to Facebook. So how long it takes is going to depend on how long your video it is, the quality of it, and what your upstream bandwidth is like. And then Facebook has to process it. So let's check it out on Facebook, but we'll give it a minute to upload. So now refreshing my Facebook page, I see that the video has landed on Facebook. And now I can see it and anybody can see it. So I'll just hit the play button and whoa, why is the video so terrible? Let's see, maybe if we click HD. All right, that's a little better, but I'll go full screen on this. Yeah, so this didn't turn out great, right? I don't know why, but the process of getting it from Lightroom onto Facebook always kind of screws up the video. I find I have much better results by using the export video tool that I showed you and saving it to my local hard disk and then uploading it. But let's pause this and we'll wrap it up. That's about all there is to editing video in Lightroom. I hope you found that helpful. Lightroom is not the best video editing tool out there, but especially for those of us already familiar with Lightroom for editing our photos, it can be a great way to color grade your pictures. And you can use all your Lightroom presets to add cool toning to them. Not all the effects work, but a lot of them do. If you like this video and you want some more, check out my Lightroom 5 video book, which has over 12 hours of video just like this, showing you every part of Lightroom. It's a far better way to learn than to just poke around on videos on YouTube. If you prefer learning by video training, it's got 12 hours of that. If you're a reader, well, there's a 250+ page ebook, which you can use as reference in the very least. You can also get it in paperback or DVD-ROM formats. Just check out our store at sdp.io/LR or Amazon. And of course, subscribe to see more free videos. And if you have any questions, add a comment down below. Don't forget to share. Thanks.